Have you ever thought that eating a lot of vegetables every day is the absolute safe choice for your health? It sounds right, because vegetables are packed with fiber, vitamins, and minerals that are essential for the body. But if you've passed the age of 60, things aren't as simple anymore. The truth is, not all vegetables are suitable for your body, which is gradually changing. Some vegetables, though considered superfoods, can silently put pressure on the kidneys, disrupt digestion, even trigger inflammation in the joints, or cause blood sugar metabolism disorders if eaten the wrong way or too often. Imagine you're still maintaining a healthy eating habit, but your body is growing more tired, your stomach gets bloated easily, and your joints ache without clear reasons. This isn't just about aging. It could be coming from the very foods you trust every day. And that's something many people don't realize until it's too late. In today's video, Longevity Tips will explore 8 types of vegetables that seem harmless, but actually pose risks for those over 60. Don't rush to skip this, because just a small adjustment in your daily meals can make a noticeable difference. Lighter stomach, more flexible joints, and significantly improved energy. Stay tuned until the end of the video, because sometimes staying healthy doesn't come from complex things, but from truly understanding what you're eating every day. 1. Cabbage. Cabbage is one of the most popular and beloved vegetables in many households, especially for those who follow a healthy diet. It is rich in fiber, vitamin C, vitamin K, and powerful antioxidants, beneficial for the cardiovascular system and immune function. However, from a scientific nutrition and preventive medicine perspective, especially for middle-aged and elderly individuals, the consumption of cabbage needs to be considered thoughtfully and appropriately, rather than assuming it's completely safe. One of the components to be cautious about in cabbage is goitrogen, a group of natural compounds that can interfere with the thyroid's ability to absorb iodine. Iodine is an essential mineral for the thyroid to produce hormones, which directly affect the metabolic rate, control energy levels, regulate heart rate, and maintain body temperature. When goitrogens are consumed excessively, especially in individuals with existing hypothyroidism or mild iodine deficiency, they can cause hormonal imbalance, leading to prolonged fatigue, unexplained weight gain, dry skin, hair loss, and reduced energy levels in daily life. In addition to affecting the thyroid, cabbage also contains a type of carbohydrate called raffinose, an oligosaccharide sugar that the human body cannot fully break down due to a lack of the agalactosidase enzyme. When raffinose is not absorbed in the small intestine, it is fermented by bacteria in the large intestine, producing gases, primarily hydrogen, methane, and carbon dioxide, which lead to bloating, gas, and discomfort, particularly in those with sensitive digestive systems, irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, or reduced digestive enzyme function due to aging. This condition is common in people over 60 when the metabolism slows down and gut microbiota starts to change. Continuing to eat raw cabbage or eating too much undercooked cabbage can exacerbate these symptoms, affecting the quality of life, sleep, and even leading many people to mistakenly confuse it with other internal health issues. However, this doesn't mean you must completely eliminate cabbage from your diet. In fact, if used correctly, cabbage can still be an important part of a healthy menu. The key lies in how it is prepared and combined with other foods. First, it is advisable to limit raw cabbage, especially for those with thyroid problems or weak digestion. When cooked, whether boiled, steamed, or lightly sautéed, the goitrogen and raffinose content in cabbage will significantly decrease, thus reducing its irritative effects on the thyroid and producing fewer gases in the digestive system. Second, combine cabbage with foods that aid digestion, such as natural probiotics from yogurt, kimchi, the kind that's low in salt and sugar, or traditional fermented pickles. The beneficial bacteria from fermented foods can help break down raffinose more efficiently, reduce gas production in the intestines, and support gut microbiome balance. This is extremely helpful for elderly individuals dealing with digestive issues. Third, if you are using cabbage as part of a weight loss or detox diet, make sure to supplement sufficient iodine from other sources such as seaweed, fish, or eggs to counteract the effects of goitrogens and protect your thyroid. Finally, listen to your body. If you notice fatigue, bloating, constipation, or weight gain after frequently eating cabbage, even when following a scientific diet, it could be a warning that this vegetable no longer suits your current health condition. In such cases, adjusting the quantity and preparation method is a better option than completely cutting it out. 2. Eggplant. Eggplant is a common vegetable found in many culinary traditions around the world, from grilling, stir-frying, to vegetarian dishes or pairing with Mediterranean-style grilled meat. With its striking purple color and soft texture after cooking, eggplant not only enriches the flavor of dishes, but is also highly regarded for its fiber content, antioxidants, and vitamins B1 and B6. However, what many people, especially those in middle age and older, fail to notice is that eggplant also contains a natural compound called solanine, which, if not consumed properly, can become a hidden enemy, causing joint inflammation, bloating, and digestive irritation. Solanine is a glycoalkaloid found in vegetables from the nightshade family, such as eggplant, potatoes, green tomatoes, and bell peppers. In nature, solanine serves as a protective mechanism for the plant against insects and bacteria. However, when consumed by humans, especially at high concentrations or accumulated over time, solanine can cause inflammatory reactions in soft tissues and joints. The most common symptoms include muscle pain, joint stiffness in the morning, or discomfort in areas like the knees, elbows, and shoulders. Not only does solanine affect the joints, but it can also cause digestive irritation in individuals with sensitive stomachs or weakened digestive systems, common in people over 60. Symptoms often include bloating, mild stomach pain, nausea, or unexplained diarrhea after eating eggplant. This can lead many to confuse these symptoms with other digestive issues, not realizing that the culprit might be their favorite eggplant dish. It's important to highlight that the degree of reaction to solanine varies depending on the individual. Some people have no issues with eggplant, while others may begin to experience symptoms like joint inflammation or digestive discomfort after regularly eating it. In the U.S. medical community, there have been many reported cases where patients saw significant improvement in inflammation symptoms after temporarily removing eggplant and other nightshade vegetables from their diet for a few weeks. So should you completely eliminate eggplant from your diet? Not necessarily. Like many foods, eggplant can be either a medicine or a poison, depending on how it's used. If you love eggplant and don't experience any adverse reactions after eating it, you can continue consuming it, but should follow some safe preparation principles. Peel the eggplant before cooking, as most of the solanine is concentrated in the skin. Cook thoroughly. Methods like roasting, steaming, or stir-frying thoroughly can significantly reduce the solanine content and make eggplant easier to digest. Avoid eating raw or undercooked. Undercooked eggplant can cause bloating, indigestion, and increase the absorption of solanine into the bloodstream. Soak in salt water before preparing. This is a common trick in American cooking to reduce the natural bitterness of eggplant and also helps reduce some of the irritants. For those with a history of arthritis, autoimmune diseases, weak stomachs, or irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, a helpful suggestion is to try eliminating eggplant and other nightshade vegetables from the diet for about 3 to 4 weeks. During this period, keep track of your body's reactions, pain levels, joint stiffness, or digestive conditions. If you notice significant improvements, it could be a sign that your body is negatively reacting to solanine. And in that case, limiting or controlling your eggplant intake would be a wise choice. Moreover, if you can't completely give up eggplant, try pairing it with anti-inflammatory foods like ginger, turmeric, olive oil, or dark leafy greens, foods that help neutralize some of the effects of solanine and support a more balanced immune system. 3. Spinach. Spinach has long been regarded as a superfood due to its high content of antioxidants, vitamins A, C, K, and especially iron. With its deep green color and soft leaf texture, spinach is commonly in salads, green smoothies, or used as a key ingredient in many weight loss dishes in the US. However, behind its nutritious appearance, spinach also has a downside that few people notice. It contains very high levels of oxalates, a substance that can significantly affect kidney and bone health if consumed incorrectly. particularly in older adults. Oxalate is a naturally occurring organic acid found in many plants, and spinach is one of the richest sources of oxalates. When oxalates are absorbed into the body, they tend to bind with calcium to form calcium oxalate, an insoluble crystal that is the main component of kidney stones. Consuming raw spinach frequently and over a long period can lead to oxalate buildup in the urinary tract, increasing the risk of kidney stone formation, especially in individuals with a sensitive constitution or a history of kidney problems. In addition, oxalates not only affect the kidneys, but also prevent the body from effectively absorbing calcium. This is a serious concern for people in middle age and older, as bone density naturally decreases due to the aging process. A prolonged calcium deficiency can weaken bones, make them brittle, and increase the risk of osteoporosis and fractures, especially in postmenopausal women, who are often encouraged to consume more leafy greens, but are not warned about the downside of certain vegetables like spinach. To better understand, imagine taking a calcium supplement every day, but also eating raw spinach in your lunch salad. In this case, the oxalates from the spinach could bind with the calcium in your food or supplement, forming an insoluble complex and preventing your body from absorbing calcium as intended. This means that even if you try to eat healthy and supplement with the right nutrients, your body could still be calcium deficient, simply due to the silent interaction from raw spinach. However, this does not mean that spinach should be completely eliminated from the diet. Instead, proper preparation methods can significantly reduce the oxalate content and retain the other wonderful benefits that this vegetable offers. First, cook the spinach. Boiling or steaming spinach for a few minutes not only softens the vegetable but also helps remove a large amount of water-soluble oxalates. Studies show that boiling spinach for 1 to 2 minutes can reduce oxalate content by 30 to 87%, improving calcium absorption and lowering the risk of kidney stone formation. If you prefer raw spinach in your salad, consider pairing it with vegetables that have lower oxalate content, such as kale, baby bok choy, or lettuce, healthy choices that pose less risk. Second, alternating and diversifying your green vegetable sources is an important principle. In American eating culture, the trend of superfoods often leads to the overconsumption of one specific vegetable, resulting in micronutrient imbalances. Instead of eating spinach every day, alternate it with other bone-healthy vegetables like kale, rich in vitamin K and calcium, bok choy, easy to digest and low in oxalates, or arugula, beneficial for heart health without affecting mineral absorption. Finally, if you belong to a high-risk group, such as having a history of kidney stones, calcium metabolism disorders, or taking calcium supplements, consult a nutritionist before regularly consuming spinach. Additionally, drinking plenty of water daily is crucial to help your body flush out excess oxalates through urine, reducing the risk of crystal buildup in the kidneys. 4. Asparagus has long been praised as one of the premium vegetables with a rich nutritional content, especially in Mediterranean diets or weight loss menus in the US. Rich in fiber, vitamins A, C, K, folate, and powerful antioxidants like glutathione, asparagus is a food that supports digestion, improves skin, and boosts liver function. However, for middle-aged and older adults, especially those with a history of gout or kidney stones, asparagus hides a significant risk if consumed improperly. The first point to note is the high purine content in asparagus. Purine is a natural compound found in many foods, and when metabolized in the body, it produces uric acid. For healthy individuals, most of the uric acid will be filtered by the kidneys and excreted through urine. However, for those with metabolic disorders or reduced kidney function, conditions commonly seen in individuals over 60, uric acid can accumulate in the blood, forming urate crystals in the joints, causing inflammation, redness, and the characteristic pain of gout. Asparagus falls into the category of foods with moderate to high purine levels, similar to mushrooms, spinach, and peas. Eating it too frequently, for example daily or multiple times a week, can gradually increase uric acid levels over time, even if the person initially does not experience any obvious symptoms. And when the first gout attack occurs, it not only causes pain but also severely impacts mobility, sleep, and overall quality of life. In addition to purine, another factor to be aware of is the natural diuretic effect of asparagus. This is a point many people appreciate because it helps cleanse the urinary system and supports water retention reduction. However, without adequate water intake, especially in older adults, a group already prone to dehydration due to reduced thirst sensation and impaired kidney function, asparagus can lead to an electrolyte imbalance in the body. This increases the concentration of urine, causing minerals like calcium, oxalates, and uric acid to crystallize, which can increase the risk of kidney stones, a painful and difficult to manage condition once it recurs. Clinical cases have documented many patients presenting with severe back pain, painful urination, or blood in the urine, and upon ultrasound, kidney stones or stones in the ureters were found. When tracing the diet, many of them had the habit of consuming asparagus daily, believing it to be a superfood, unaware that the accumulation of purines and prolonged dehydration were the causes leading to the formation of stones. This does not mean that you have to completely remove asparagus from your diet. In fact, when used properly, asparagus still provides many benefits, especially in supporting liver detoxification, boosting the immune system, and improving digestive function. The issue lies in frequency, how it is paired, and the accompanying water intake. First, limit the frequency of eating asparagus, especially if you have a history of kidney stones or gout. Eating it 1 to 2 times a week is a safe amount, especially when paired with alkaline foods like cucumbers, celery, or berries that help reduce uric acid in the blood. Second, always ensure you drink enough water when consuming asparagus. The recommended amount is at least 2 liters per day. More if you consume asparagus with other high purine foods like red meat or seafood. This helps dilute the uric acid in the blood and supports the kidneys in better excreting it, thus reducing the risk of accumulation and stone formation. Third, if you are following a detox or dieting regimen, do not overuse asparagus as the primary source. Instead, diversify your greens with lower purine vegetables like broccoli, kale, or zucchini, still ensuring fiber and micronutrients, but friendlier for the urinary system. Finally, if you are taking medication for gout or have recurrent kidney stones, consult your doctor or nutritionist before including asparagus regularly in your diet. Every body is different, and what is healthy for one person may not be suitable for another, especially as age changes the way the body processes nutrition. 5. Peas. A small, sweet, and nutrient-rich legume has long been an essential part of many Western dishes. In American culinary culture, peas are commonly found in soups, stews, salads, or served as a side dish rich in fiber and plant-based protein. However, what most consumers don't know is that although peas seem healthy on the surface, they contain some compounds that could cause health problems, especially for those over 60, who may be facing conditions like gout, digestive disorders, or metabolic imbalances. One of the most important factors to consider when it comes to peas is their purine content, a natural compound found in many beans and high-protein foods. When purine is metabolized in the body, it forms uric acid. If the amount of uric acid in the blood becomes too high and is not efficiently excreted by the kidneys, it will crystallize into urate crystals and accumulate in the joints, causing the characteristic pain of gout. Older Americans, especially men, have a higher incidence of gout due to the combination of factors: a sedentary lifestyle, high consumption of red meat, low water intake, and the use of medications that reduce the ability to excrete uric acid. Peas fall into the category of foods with moderate purine levels, not as high as organ meats or herring, but enough to cause adverse reactions if consumed frequently or without proper balance in the diet. Especially for those who have previously had a gout attack or have been advised by their doctor to reduce purine intake, caution should be exercised when eating dishes containing peas, whether fresh or frozen. In addition to purine, lectin is another factor to be aware of. Lectin is a type of protein that can bind to the cell membranes in the intestines and interfere with nutrient absorption. In individuals with sensitive digestive systems, lectin can cause discomfort such as bloating, gas, indigestion, and even mild inflammation in the intestinal walls if consumed frequently and in large amounts. Nowadays, many Americans, due to fast-paced living and industrialized diets, are increasingly suffering from irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, chronic mild bowel inflammation, or digestive enzyme deficiencies, making lectin a concern that should not be overlooked. However, this does not mean you need to completely eliminate peas from your diet. In fact, with a bit of understanding and small adjustments, peas can still be part of a healthy diet, even for those at risk of gout or poor digestion. First, use peas in moderation. A serving of about 1/4 to half cup, about 40–80 grams, is a reasonable amount to avoid purine buildup. Don't treat peas as the main dish, but rather as a side dish, a little green to enrich your meal and provide a gentle dose of fiber. Second, combine peas with healthy fats such as olive oil, avocado, or a little crushed walnuts. The reason? Peas have a relatively low glycemic index, GI, but can still cause a slight rise in blood sugar if eaten alone, especially for people with insulin resistance. When paired with healthy fats, the absorption of sugars and starches is slowed down, reducing stress on the pancreas and stabilizing energy levels after meals. Third, cook or steam peas thoroughly before eating, especially with fresh peas. High temperatures help break down some of the lectin and soften the cell walls, making it easier for the digestive system to handle. This is particularly important for older adults, whose ability to digest proteins and complex carbohydrates has begun to decline. Also, don't forget to drink enough water, especially when eating foods containing purine. Water will support the excretion of uric acid, reduce the risk of crystal buildup in the joints, and help the kidneys function more efficiently. Finally, listen to your body. If you feel bloated, heavy, or experience joint pain after eating peas, try removing them from your diet for a few weeks and then reintroduce them in a controlled manner to reassess your body's response. This is a strategy commonly applied in clinical nutrition in the US, called elimination and reintroduction, which means removing suspected foods and testing them again in small amounts to determine personal tolerance. 6. Mushrooms. Mushrooms are a food that Americans highly favor, from appetizers like mushroom salads to main dishes like pizza, pasta, and mushroom cream soups. This flavorful ingredient is present. In the community of those who follow a healthy diet, vegetarian or Mediterranean-style eating, mushrooms are even considered plant meat due to their meaty texture, natural umami flavor, and impressive nutritional content. Low in calories, fat-free, rich in B vitamins, selenium, potassium, and antioxidants. However, from the perspective of public health science, mushrooms also have some characteristics that need to be clearly understood, especially for people over 50, whose liver and kidney functions begin to decline with age. One of the lesser-known biological characteristics of mushrooms is their ability to absorb heavy metals from the soil, particularly cadmium, mercury, lead, and arsenic. Toxic substances that can remain in the soil due to industrial pollution or uncontrolled use of fertilizers and pesticides. Unlike many other vegetables, mushrooms lack a root system to filter the minerals they absorb. Instead, they absorb almost all the trace elements in their environment. This makes mushrooms a biological sponge, meaning if the growing environment is contaminated with heavy metals, mushrooms will also accumulate these toxins in their bodies. When humans consume mushrooms containing heavy metals, these substances gradually accumulate in the liver and kidneys, the two organs responsible for detoxifying the body. In young, healthy individuals, the body can process some of these metals. However, in middle-aged and older people, liver and kidney functions are often no longer operating at optimal levels, which slows down the detoxification process and increases the risk of cellular toxicity, mild liver inflammation, elevated liver enzymes, or potential kidney dysfunction. In addition to the risk of heavy metals, some commonly found mushrooms in supermarkets, such as white mushrooms, button mushroom, portobello mushrooms, and cremini mushrooms, also contain a natural compound called agarotine. This is a natural hydrazine found in raw mushrooms and is classified as a mutagenic precursor in animal studies. When agarotine is consumed in high doses over extended periods, it can cause DNA damage at the cellular level, thereby increasing the risk of cancer-related issues. Although studies on humans have not yet shown clear effects at typical consumption levels, it is worth noting that agarotene is significantly destroyed when mushrooms are cooked, especially with methods like sautéing, boiling, or roasting. Therefore, eating raw mushrooms, whether in salads or modern raw food dishes, is not a safe choice, particularly for older adults, those with a history of liver disease, or those showing any abnormal kidney function. Some modern restaurants or people following the raw food lifestyle often enjoy adding raw mushrooms to dishes to increase freshness. But from a functional nutrition perspective, the drawbacks outweigh the benefits. To minimize risks from heavy metals and agarotene, there are a few important guidelines that you should follow. First, always cook mushrooms thoroughly before eating. Just a few minutes of sautéing, quick frying, or roasting is enough to significantly reduce the amount of agarotene in mushrooms, while softening their texture and making them easier to digest. This is especially helpful for older adults, who often struggle to digest insoluble fiber found in raw mushrooms. Second, prioritize organic mushrooms, or at least mushrooms grown on farms with certified safe practices. In the US, the USDA Organic Certification label is a reputable indicator that helps consumers avoid products that may be contaminated with heavy metals and chemical pesticides used in farming. Although organic mushrooms are typically more expensive than regular mushrooms, this is a reasonable long-term health investment, especially when your liver and kidneys no longer function as efficiently as they did in your younger years. Third, do not eat mushrooms every day. While they are a nutrient-dense food, consuming them continuously, especially from unclear sources, will unintentionally lead to the accumulation of heavy metals and agarotene in the body. Eating mushrooms 2-3 times a week, alternating with other green vegetables like broccoli, kale, or other plant-based protein sources like tofu or chia seeds, will create a diet that is both varied and safer. Finally, remember that healthy eating is not just about choosing the right foods, but also about how you prepare and consume them. Mushrooms are a prime example. Healthy and nutritious, but requiring proper knowledge to avoid turning a tonic into a poison. And it is this proactive approach in every small choice that will help you maintain a healthy liver, strong kidneys, and a body that lives long, lives healthily, and lives fully every day. 7. Potatoes. Potatoes are one of the most popular and easily accessible foods in American cuisine. From mashed potatoes in traditional dinners to crispy fries in fast food meals, this tuber has become a staple in the daily lives of millions of people. However, when viewed from a modern nutritional perspective, especially for those concerned with heart health, blood sugar control, and chronic disease prevention, potatoes are not always the ideal choice, especially when cooked and consumed improperly. The first important point about potatoes is their high glycemic index, GI, particularly when potatoes are cooked and consumed without fiber or protein. The GI reflects the rate at which blood sugar increases after eating carbohydrate-containing foods. Boiled potatoes have an average GI of about 78, while mashed potatoes or fried potatoes can go above 90, almost equivalent to white bread or soda. When a high GI food is consumed, it causes a rapid spike in blood sugar, forcing the pancreas to release a large amount of insulin to transport glucose into cells. Afterward, the blood sugar quickly drops, causing feelings of hunger, fatigue, and in the long term, may contribute to insulin resistance, weight gain, and type 2 diabetes, particularly in middle-aged and older individuals when metabolism begins to decline. The issue becomes even more serious when potatoes are fried at high temperatures, a common method in fast food preparations such as French fries, hash browns, or packaged snacks. When the starch in potatoes is exposed to high temperatures, above 120 degrees Celsius, especially in low-water environments like frying, it forms a compound called acrylamide. This chemical is classified by the International Agency for Research on Cancer as a possible human carcinogen, based on evidence from animal studies. Acrylamide is formed through a reaction between sugar and the amino acid asparagine in potatoes when exposed to high heat, most commonly seen when the potato has a burnt or golden crispy layer. Research has shown that acrylamide can damage DNA, promote oxidation and cause cell mutations, particularly in neural, liver, and reproductive tissues. The concern is that French fries are one of the highest sources of acrylamide in the modern American diet, especially among children, teenagers, and adults who regularly consume fast food. However, this does not mean you must completely eliminate potatoes from your diet. The issue lies not in the potato itself, but in how you choose, prepare, and combine it. With a little knowledge and adjustment, you can still reap the nutritional benefits of potatoes. Rich in potassium, vitamin C, vitamin B6, and antioxidants, without risking your health. First, limit or avoid frying potatoes at high temperatures, especially deep frying or reusing old oil. If you want to enjoy roasted or pan-fried potatoes, cook them at moderate temperatures and avoid letting the potatoes burn, as the burnt parts contain the most acrylamide. Second, instead of peeling potatoes, a step that many Americans often skip when cooking, keep the skin on when boiling or roasting. The skin contains fiber, antioxidants, and helps slow down starch absorption, thus stabilizing blood sugar after meals. Just wash them thoroughly and use potatoes from organic sources or safe farms to take full advantage of this tuber's benefits. Third, consider replacing part of the potatoes in your diet with sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes have a much lower GI, around 55 to 60, are rich in beta-carotene, a precursor to vitamin A that boosts the immune system, and have the ability to slow the release of sugar into the blood due to their high fiber content. In modern American eating culture, the trend of using baked, steamed, or mashed sweet potatoes as a healthy alternative to French fries is becoming more popular, especially in low-carb or anti-inflammatory diets. Finally, if you still want to eat potatoes without affecting your health, combine them with protein and healthy fats like chicken breast, salmon, olive oil, or natural plant-based butter. This combination helps slow glucose absorption into the blood, reduces the negative impact of high GI foods, and keeps energy stable throughout the meal. 8. Corn is one of the most popular and widely accessible grains in the United States and around the world. You can easily encounter corn in all forms, from grilled corn at outdoor barbecues, corn soup at restaurants, to crunchy snacks or popcorn at the movie theater. With its mildly sweet flavor, easy-to-eat texture, and friendly feel, many people automatically assume that corn is a healthy vegetable suitable for all ages. However, as you enter middle age, especially after 50, the consumption of corn needs to be considered more carefully, as this food has some physiological and chemical characteristics that are not compatible with the aging body. The first important point to emphasize is that corn has a high glycemic index, GI, which means that after eating, the carbohydrates in corn are quickly converted into glucose, causing blood sugar to spike rapidly in a short period. For younger individuals, the body still has enough insulin response to regulate glucose levels in the blood. However, in people over 50, a time when pancreatic function, insulin sensitivity, and glucose metabolism begin to decline, this blood sugar spike becomes particularly dangerous. When blood sugar rises too quickly after a meal, it stimulates the pancreas to release a large amount of insulin to bring glucose into the cells. However, for those with mild insulin resistance or glucose intolerance, which is quite common in middle-aged individuals, this response is no longer as effective as before, causing glucose to remain in the blood longer, which burdens the blood vessels and organs. Over time, this contributes to type 2 diabetes, increased belly fat, dyslipidemia, and atherosclerosis, factors that increase the risk of stroke and cardiovascular disease, which are leading causes of death in the United States. Furthermore, corn contains a high level of cellulose, an insoluble fiber. In theory, fiber is beneficial for digestion, but the cellulose in corn is very difficult to break down, especially for people with slow digestion or weak stomachs, a common issue in older adults. When cellulose is not properly digested, it travels to the large intestine, where it is fermented by bacteria, producing gas, causing bloating, stomach discomfort, and unease after eating, especially when consuming whole kernels or large amounts in a short period. There have been many patients aged 55 and above who came in with vague symptoms such as sluggishness, indigestion, irregular bowel movements, or a feeling of fullness lasting for an extended period. Upon analyzing their diet, corn, especially processed corn products such as boiled corn, popcorn, or cornflakes, often appeared regularly in their meals without proper portion control. Combined with a sedentary lifestyle, the body's inability to digest insoluble fiber makes digestive issues more persistent. However, this does not mean that you must completely eliminate corn from your diet. In fact, corn is still a source of B vitamins, antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin, which are good for the eyes, and a small amount of minerals such as magnesium and iron. The issue lies in how you choose the type of corn, how you prepare it, and the amount consumed according to age and health conditions. First, if you love corn, prioritize choosing young corn or organic corn, as mature corn contains higher levels of sugar and cellulose and is more likely to be genetically modified, GMO, which is not recommended for older adults, especially those with pre-existing conditions. Organic corn also reduces the risk of exposure to pesticides and chemical fertilizers, factors that disrupt endocrine systems and increase the detoxification burden on the liver. Second, eat corn in moderation. Instead of eating a large cob of corn as a main dish, break it down into smaller portions and pair it with fiber-rich leafy vegetables and healthy fats such as avocado, olive oil, or butter. This will help slow down sugar absorption, stabilize blood sugar levels, and improve digestion. Third, if you have mild digestive issues, try replacing corn with grains that have lower cellulose content and lower GI, such as whole oats, quinoa, or millet. These are choices that are both friendly to blood sugar levels and gentler on the digestive system. Finally, don't forget that corn in processed products, such as snack cakes, sweet cereals, or high-fructose corn syrup, is a source of bad carbohydrates that should be limited as much as possible. These not only raise blood sugar, but also contain additives, preservatives, and industrial frying oils, all of which cause inflammation, promote aging, and increase the risk of chronic diseases in middle-aged individuals. When it comes to health after the age of 60, the most important thing is not what you eat, but how well you understand the changes occurring in your body. A vegetable that was once very good for you at the age of 30 might become hard to digest or cause mild inflammation at the age of 60, and that is completely normal. We don't need to eliminate familiar foods entirely, but instead, we need to adjust how we use them, the quantities, the way we prepare them, and the frequency with which we eat them to match our current physical condition. You don't need to fear every time you pick up your chopsticks or over-worry about every meal. Instead, start with small habits that have a lasting impact. Cook your food a little more thoroughly. Choose organic vegetables. Vary the types of vegetables to avoid the accumulation of hard-to-digest compounds, and listen more carefully to your body's response after each meal. Symptoms like bloating or fatigue after eating are not trivial matters. They may be signs from your digestive system, liver, or kidneys trying to warn you. Remember, taking care of your health is a journey, not a destination. You don't need to be perfect starting tomorrow. Just begin today. With a more balanced meal, a smarter choice, and a proactive approach to your body. If this video has been valuable to you, please like it and share it with your loved ones. Because everyone deserves to eat right, live healthily, and live long. And don't forget to subscribe to the Longevity Tips channel, where we share golden tips specifically for those over 60 plus, so you can always stay one step ahead in your lifelong health journey.